Before a single car is built, before a single mile is driven, every company in the race to build a self-driving car must make one foundational bet. It's a bet so fundamental, it dictates their entire strategy, their cost structure, and their path to winning a trillion-dollar market. And the two most powerful players in this race have placed their bets on two completely different futures. The question they're betting on is this: do you build a car that sees the world like a human, or one that sees like a god? Tesla has wagered everything on the human path. They believe a system of simple cameras, powered by a brilliant AI brain, and trained on billions of miles of real-world video, can learn to navigate our world. It's a bet on scalable, affordable intelligence. Waymo has wagered billions on the God path. Their cars are armed with a fortress of expensive, military-grade LIDAR and radar, giving them a superhuman ability to see in 3D, through darkness, and through fog. It's a bet on absolute, verifiable precision. One of these philosophies will build the future of mobility. The other will become a multi-billion-dollar footnote in the history of technology. The prize: dominance over the future of transportation, a market valued in the trillions. This isn't a simple race to see who gets there first. It's a fundamental conflict over the right way to build an artificial driver. To understand who will win, you can't just follow the stock price or the latest tweet. You have to understand the battlefield. And that battlefield is being fought across 5 critical layers, from the silicon that sees the world to the business model that sells it. This is the story of the Robotaxi Blueprint, and it begins with the most foundational question of all: how a machine learns to see. Let's unpack this. At the foundation of every autonomous vehicle is a single, non-negotiable choice that dictates everything that follows. How does the car see? This isn't just a technical debate. It's a strategic fork in the road with trillion-dollar consequences. And it has split the industry into two warring camps. In Tesla's camp, the philosophy is almost poetic: recreate the human eye. Their entire system is built on what they call Tesla Vision, a suite of 8 cameras that feed a constant stream of visual data to the car's AI. The strategic bet here is as audacious as it is simple. If 8 billion humans can navigate the chaotic world with just 2 biological cameras, then a sufficiently powerful AI should be able to do the same, if not better. This camera-only approach is a gambit to achieve 2 things: low cost and massive scale. Cameras are cheap, mature technology. By designing a system that works with them, Tesla can, in theory, turn every single car that rolls off its factory line into a potential robotaxi. The millions of Teslas already on the road aren't just cars. They are a decentralized army of data-gathering eyes, feeding a neural network with more real-world driving video than any competitor could ever hope to match. In Waymo's corner, the approach is pure engineering pragmatism. They looked at the human eye and saw its fatal flaws. It's easily blinded by glare, confused by fog, and useless in total darkness. Their answer wasn't to replicate it, but to build something far superior. Their blueprint is built on a fortress of sensors. On top of high-resolution cameras, they add LIDAR, which paints a real-time 3D map of the world with lasers, and radar, which can see through rain and fog. As one of their co-CEOs stated, this belt and suspenders approach isn't about assisting a driver. It's about replacing them with something more reliable. It's a system designed not just to see, but to perceive in multiple dimensions simultaneously. So why this expensive, complex fortress of sensors? Because Waymo's philosophy is rooted in redundancy and verifiable safety. If a camera is blinded by the setting sun, the LiDAR and radar are not. This multi-sensor fusion provides a level of certainty that they argue is non-negotiable for a truly driverless system. But the safety comes at a steep price. The sensor suite on a single Waymo vehicle is estimated to add tens of thousands of dollars to its cost, a massive financial barrier to the kind of scale Tesla dreams of. And here, the first battle line of the robotaxi wars is drawn. Tesla is betting that the cost of not scaling is higher than the risk of its vision-only system. Waymo is betting that the cost of a single catastrophic failure is higher than the cost of its slow, methodical rollout. One path leads to a potential future of millions of good-enough AI drivers learning from each other on every road. The other leads to a future of thousands of near-perfect but geographically limited robo-chauffeurs. This single choice, how to see the world, is the first and perhaps most important piece of the Robotaxi Blueprint. But how the car sees is only half the equation. The other half is how it thinks. And that leads to the next battle, the war for intelligence. A car that can see is one thing. A car that can understand is another. Once the flood of data comes in from the perception system, the car's AI, its brain, must make a split-second decision. This is the intelligence layer, and it's the site of the second great philosophical war in the robotaxi race. The core conflict. Do you build an AI that has memorized the world, or one that has learned to navigate it? Waymo's approach is that of the Cartographer. Before a single Waymo vehicle offers a ride in a new city, it has already driven every street hundreds of times. They build a hyper-detailed, centimeter-accurate 3D map of the entire operational area. This isn't Google Maps, it's a digital twin of reality. The AI knows the exact height of every curb, the angle of every intersection, and the location of every stop sign. This is Waymo's strategic safety net. The car isn't just reacting to what it sees in the moment. It's cross-referencing its live sensor data with a perfect memory of what should be there. This dramatically reduces uncertainty and the risk of unpredictable behavior. But this precision is also their biggest bottleneck. Creating and, more importantly, maintaining these digital twins is an astronomically expensive and labor-intensive process. A single road construction project can render a section of the map obsolete, requiring a new survey. This is why Waymo's expansion is a slow, deliberate march, city by city. Their AI is a genius, but only within the walls of a city it has already perfected. Tesla's approach is the polar opposite. They are building the student driver. Instead of memorizing cities, their AI is being trained on the concept of driving itself. Using billions of miles of video from its global fleet, Tesla's end-to-end neural network isn't learning a map of Austin, it's learning what a double yellow line means, how a pedestrian is likely to behave, and the unwritten rules of a four-way stop. The strategic prize here is the holy grail of autonomy: generalization. If it works, a Tesla robotaxi could, in theory, be deployed in London, Tokyo, or Cairo without ever having been there before because it understands the principles of driving, not just the layout of a specific city. This is the only path to the explosive global scale that Musk has promised. But this ambition comes with immense risk. A student driver, no matter how much they've studied, can be flummoxed by a truly novel situation, what the industry calls an edge case. Without the safety net of a perfect map, the system's performance is entirely dependent on the AI's ability to reason its way through unpredictable chaos. Any failure is not a failure of memory, but a failure of intelligence itself. So, the second battle line is drawn, and it's a conflict that cuts to the very heart of what AI is. It's a war between Waymo's closed-world certainty and Tesla's open-world ambition. Waymo's strategy is to build a perfect digital prison of safety for its AI. Inside the walls of its meticulously mapped cities, the car's behavior is predictable, reliable, and deeply understood. This is a bet that profitability and trust are won by perfecting one market at a time, proving unwavering consistency before expanding. The risk? They may never be able to build those prison walls fast enough to conquer the world. Tesla, on the other hand, adopts a completely different strategy. It unleashes its AI into the wild, trusting that its training on billions of real-world miles has prepared it for the chaos. This is a bet on the power of generalized intelligence, a belief that the only way to achieve global scale is to build a system that doesn't need hand-holding city by city. The risk? In the open world, one critical failure of judgment could erode public trust overnight and set the entire industry back years. This isn't just an engineering debate. It's a strategic calculation with trillion-dollar implications. Is the future of autonomy won by painstakingly building a series of perfect, controlled environments? Or is it won by creating a single, adaptable intelligence that can handle anything the world throws at it? The eyes and the brain are the core of the autonomous mind. But that mind is useless without a body to carry it. And the choice of that body reveals the next front in this war. The most sophisticated AI in the world is worthless if it's trapped on a server. It needs a physical form, a body to navigate the real world. This is the fleet layer, and the strategic choices made here revealed two vastly different visions for the economics of autonomy. The core conflict? Is a robotaxi a specialized industrial tool built for a single purpose, or is it a software feature that can be activated in any car? Waymo and competitors like Amazon Zoox are building the specialist fleet. Their approach treats the robotaxi as a new category of industrial hardware. They are commissioning custom-built vehicles or heavily modifying existing ones, creating a fleet that is owned, maintained, and controlled entirely by the company. The strategic logic here is about optimization and control. A purpose-built vehicle can be designed for maximum ride-hailing efficiency, with more durable interiors, no wasted space for a driver's cockpit, and a hardware suite that is perfectly integrated from the factory floor. By owning the entire fleet, they control the user experience, manage maintenance schedules, and ensure every vehicle meets their exacting safety standards. This is the playbook of industrial logistics. Build a uniform, predictable, and highly managed system. Tesla's blueprint couldn't be more different. They're assembling the people's army. Their strategy isn't just to build a fleet, it's to activate one that already exists. Elon Musk has been clear. The Tesla Robotaxi network will be a hybrid, combining a small fleet of Tesla-owned vehicles with a vast, decentralized army of millions of customer-owned cars. This is a bet on a revolutionary business model, one Musk has described as a combination of Uber and Airbnb. The idea is that any Tesla owner can, with the tap of a button, add their car to the autonomous ride-hailing network when they're not using it, at work, or overnight while they sleep. If this model works, Tesla's advantage will be staggering: near zero capital expenditure for fleet acquisition. While Waymo must spend billions to build and deploy thousands of specialized vehicles, Tesla aims to tap into an existing asset base of millions of cars that its customers have already paid for. This solves the single biggest cost barrier to scaling a global ride-hailing service. It is a brilliant asset-light approach that could allow them to achieve a global footprint at a speed and cost that no competitor can match. But this decentralized army comes with its own logistical nightmare. How do you manage the quality control of 1 million privately owned vehicles? Who is responsible for cleaning, maintenance, and charging? And how do you create a consistent, reliable service when your fleet is made up of individual owners who can add or remove their car from the network at will? So the third battle line is drawn. It's a fight between Waymo's centralized industrial precision and Tesla's decentralized chaotic scale. One vision sees the robotaxi as a perfectly managed corporate asset. The other sees it as a shared economic utility powered by the people. Investigating why a company like Tesla or Waymo makes a bet this audacious, unpacking the strategic rationale behind the technology, is the core of what we do in our newsletter, ARPU. It's where we move past the product launch to analyze the fundamental business playbook. If you want to get this kind of strategic breakdown regularly, you can find the link to ARPU right at the top of the description. This choice of body, of fleet, will define the cost and speed of their global expansion. But even the biggest fleet in the world needs a way to connect with riders. And that leads to the fourth layer of the blueprint, the battle for the network. An army of autonomous cars, no matter how intelligent or well-built, is just a collection of assets. To become a business, it needs a network, a marketplace that connects riders with rides. This is the network layer, the crucial bridge between the technology and the consumer. And the strategies here are a classic Silicon Valley showdown. The core conflict: do you build a new ride-hailing empire from the ground up? Or do you become the technology that powers the empires that already exist? Tesla's strategy is that of the empire builder. They are not just building the car and the AI, they are building the entire customer-facing ecosystem, from the custom hailing app to the payment processing to the fleet management. Tesla intends to own every single step of the user journey. The strategic playbook here is a direct descendant of Apple's iOS. By creating a closed, walled garden, they maintain absolute control over the user experience, the branding, and, most importantly, the revenue. There are no middlemen. Every dollar spent on a Tesla robotaxi ride flows directly back to Tesla. This model maximizes profitability and reinforces their brand. But it comes with a monumental challenge. They have to build a global ride-hailing service from scratch, competing directly with established giants who have spent a decade and billions of dollars acquiring hundreds of millions of users. It's a bet that their product is so revolutionary, it can lure customers away from the apps already on their home screens. Waymo, in stark contrast, is playing the role of the enabler. They've looked at the ride-hailing landscape and recognized the immense power of the existing networks. Instead of trying to build a rival to Uber, they've partnered with them. Their strategy is to become the Intel Inside of the autonomous era. By integrating their driverless technology directly into the Uber app, they gain immediate, frictionless access to Uber's massive global customer base. They don't need to spend a dime on marketing to acquire riders. Uber has already done it for them. This allows Waymo to focus exclusively on what it does best, perfecting its autonomous driver. It's a strategic trade-off, sacrificing a percentage of the revenue and some control over the user experience in exchange for instant market access and scale. This is the classic strategic dilemma: vertical integration versus horizontal partnership. Tesla is betting it can replicate the Apple model, that by controlling the hardware, software, and service, it can create an experience so compelling it will build a new empire. Waymo is betting it can replicate the Intel model, that by becoming the indispensable, best-in-class technology component, it can become the default choice for all the existing empires, winning without ever having to fight a direct war for the end consumer. The fourth battle line is drawn. It's a conflict between Tesla's all-or-nothing vertical empire and Waymo's symbiotic platform-powering partnership. The choice of network will determine how quickly and efficiently they can turn their technological promise into a commercial reality. But even the most brilliant technology deployed on the largest network will fail if it cannot win the final, most important battle: the war for trust. We have arrived at the final, most human layer of the Robotaxi Blueprint. A company can build the perfect eyes, the most brilliant brain, the most efficient body, and the largest network. But all of it is worthless if people are too afraid to get in the car. This is the endgame, the race to win the unquestionable trust of both the public and the regulators who represent them. And here, the two philosophies face their ultimate test. The core conflict is not technological, but psychological. How do you prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that your machine is safer than a human? Tesla's path to trust is through overwhelming data. Their strategic argument is one of scale and statistics. As their fleet drives billions of miles, they will amass a mountain of data proving that on a per-mile basis, their FSD system is orders of magnitude safer than the average human driver. For Tesla, the numbers are the ultimate truth. Their approach often puts them in a confrontational stance with regulators, pushing the boundaries of what's permissible and launching services before formal frameworks are fully established, as we've seen with their Austin rollout and their lack of permits in California. It's a move fast and prove it with data strategy, betting that superior real-world performance will eventually force regulators and the public to accept the technology. Waymo's path is through methodical transparency. Their strategy isn't just to be safe, but to be seen to be safe. They operate on a foundation of process and public validation. They commission and publish peer-reviewed scientific studies, like their comprehensive analysis of 56 million driverless miles, to build a case for their safety record. They work hand in hand with city officials and regulators before expanding, seeking permission rather than asking for forgiveness. This is a bet that trust isn't won with raw data alone, but with a transparent, collaborative process that gives society a seat at the table. It's a slower, more deliberate path, but one designed to build a deep, resilient foundation of public and political capital. And this is where the entire Robotaxi Blueprint culminates. Tesla's aggressive, data-first approach could allow it to scale faster, but a single high-profile failure could trigger a massive regulatory and public backlash, not just against them, but against the entire industry. Waymo's careful, process-driven approach builds a stronger defense against that backlash, but their slow pace risks ceding the market to faster, more agile competitors, leaving them perfectly trusted but commercially irrelevant. This final layer reveals the ultimate paradox of the robotaxi wars. The winner won't just need the best technology. They'll need the best political and social strategy. They must navigate a world where a single viral video of a misbehaving car can outweigh 1 billion miles of safety data. Winning the trust of a single writer is easy. Winning the trust of civilization is the entire game. So, after a journey through the Robotaxi Blueprint, we return to our central question. In a war this complex, who is really winning? The blueprint itself gives us the answer. Because every layer we've discussed isn't just a technological choice, it's a staggering financial commitment. This isn't a war of ideas, it's a war of capital. And the company with the most resilient funding will win. Let's look at the cost of the blueprint. At the perception layer, Waymo has chosen a path that adds tens of thousands of dollars in hardware to every single car. At the fleet layer, they and competitors like Zoox are spending billions to build and maintain their own vehicle armies from scratch. The cost is immense, but it's underwritten by the fortress-like balance sheets of Alphabet and Amazon. And then there's Tesla. Their asset-light dream of activating a people's army is brilliant, but it's built on a heavy foundation. It's bankrolled entirely by the profits from their core auto business. And that foundation is cracking. With sales plunging 49% in Europe and a brutal price war with BYD eroding margins in China, the very cash engine needed to fund the Robotaxi moonshot is now at risk. This is the ultimate choke point. Waymo's methodical, expensive blueprint is underwritten by the stable empire of Alphabet. Tesla's brilliant, scalable blueprint is funded by its own, increasingly volatile one. This is a war of attrition. And the winner may not be the company with the smartest AI, but the one whose balance sheet can survive the longest winter. As you watch the self-driving space unfold, apply this blueprint as a strategic lens. Don't just follow the headlines. Instead, ask the strategic questions that reveal where the real power lies. The eyes. Does this make perception cheaper and more scalable, or safer and more redundant? The brain. Is the goal to master driving anywhere, or to perfect driving somewhere? The body. Is the fleet a company-owned army, or a customer-powered network? The network. Is this trying to build a new walled garden or partner with an existing one? And finally, the endgame. Is trust won with raw data or through transparent process? Thinking in terms of this blueprint is the core of our analysis here, and it's how we putt through the noise to find the real signal. It's a complex, multi-front war, and we'll be tracking every move. If you want to continue to get this kind of strategic breakdown of the business of tech, you'll find the link to our newsletter, ARPU, right at the top of the description. Thanks for watching.